As much as the streaming revolution has given us instant access to more film and TV content than ever before, it's also fair to say that rights holders absolutely did not anticipate the global pivot from physical media to non-tangible digital media ownership, leaving no way to easily access some of the following products without tracking down pricey second-hand copies. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 movies and TV shows you can no longer watch. Number 10, Cocoon. Ron Howard's 1985 sci-fi comedy classic Cocoon won 2 Oscars and was the 6th highest grossing film released that year, and yet is a major pain in the ass to track down if you don't live in Europe. For starters, the film isn't available to stream anywhere in the world, though its sequel, Cocoon The Return, is inexplicably available on Disney+, and the 2010 Blu-ray release is out of print, often selling secondhand for as much as $100. Though a newer Blu-ray release is still available in Europe, international punters would need to pay import fees and have a Blu-ray player capable of playing Region 2 discs, which is quite the faff for a film which, per its popularity, should be readily available with a few clicks. Depressingly, the easiest way to watch the movie legally outside of Europe is to buy a second-hand copy of the early 2000s DVD release, though considering the film's striking Oscar-winning visual effects, you couldn't be blamed for craving a higher fidelity release. Funnily enough though, an investigation on Uproxx into Cocoon's home video banishment suggests that the issue may be related to expired musical rights, though this is just one of many possible reams of legal red tape that need to be sorted through. Number 9. Pink Flamingos. John Waters' 1972 cult classic exploitation film Pink Flamingos may not be as mainstream or as award-winning as other films on this list, but it has nevertheless endured as a thoroughly admired indie curio almost 50 years later. Despite its reputation as one of the most infamously trashy movies of all time, Pink Flamingos isn't available to stream anywhere, nor has it been made available on Blu-ray. Your only way to source the movie at present is to track down the 2004 DVD release, and while some might argue that it makes for fittingly grotty viewing considering the nature of the material, there are many who would love to see the film remastered for a Blu-ray release. Hell, why not make it 4K UHD while they're at it? Though there have been some whispers of an impending Blu-ray release for the last few years, nothing has materialized as of yet. However, considering other John Waters flicks like Multiple Maniacs, Polyester, and Female Trouble have hit the Criterion Collection, he's hoping this one does too. Number 8. Ed. Even more upsetting than these movies and TV shows being unavailable to watch is the fact that their unavailability means they're effectively erased from the cultural consciousness. That's certainly the case with NBC's Emmy and Golden Globe nominated dramedy series Ed, which starred Tom Cavanagh as a hotshot lawyer returning to his hometown to fix his life, and co-starred Julie Bowen as his love interest. Ed averaged between 8 and 11 million viewers across its 4 seasons and 83 episodes, so it's a crying shame that it has basically disappeared off the face of the earth since its final episode aired. Unless you're desperate enough to watch some bootleg VHS rips, Ed isn't available to stream, nor has it ever been released on DVD or Blu-ray. The reason, ostensibly, is the show's frequent use of popular music, which means that any new release requires the music rights to be renegotiated by high-priced lawyers, which is, unsurprisingly, rather expensive. Between this and the fact that Ed is actually co-owned by NBC Universal and Paramount, it seems like no party is sufficiently motivated to keep the show from sliding into the abyssal depths of forgotten TV. Number 7. Sleuth. Though you can easily find its 2007 remake ready to stream, the original 1972 mystery thriller Sleuth is an infuriatingly elusive picture. Despite starring Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier and receiving 4 Oscar nominations, including Best Actor for both stars and Best Director for Joseph L. Mankiewicz, Sleuth can't be streamed, isn't available on Blu-ray, and your only port of call is an ancient DVD release. What could possibly prevent such a famed and lauded movie from being available in glorious HD then, especially given that it was selected for the Academy Film Archive in 2012? Well, basically, the film's rights incredulously ended up with a pharmaceutical company, Bristol Myers Squibb, which later shuttered its entertainment offshoot, effectively leaving Sleuth's distribution rights in the ether. Number 6. Song of the South. Though Disney have made a massive chunk of their back catalogue, both animated and live action, available on their Disney Plus streaming service, there is perhaps one anomaly above all others. The film, of course, is Song of the South, the 1946 live-action animated hybrid, which has been massively criticised for its idolized depictions of post-slavery America and stereotyped black characters. As a result of the movie's decades-long infamy, it isn't available on Disney Plus, nor has it ever been released on DVD or Blu-ray. It was, however, released on VHS and Laserdisc in some European and Asian territories back in 2000. Generally, this is because former Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed last year that the film wouldn't be joining Disney Plus, deeming it, quote, not appropriate in today's world. His assessment of the film isn't wrong, and you can see why the family-friendly Disney wouldn't want such a glaring illustration of their own bigoted history to be readily available to kids with just a few clicks, even with some additional contextual disclaimers. Number 5. Let It Be. Let It Be is a 1970 documentary chronicling the recording of the Beatles' 12th and final album of the same name, faintly touching on the dissension between the band members which eventually led to their breakup. While the film's release was largely ignored by the band themselves, they did win a Best Original Score Oscar for it. Despite this and the film being a documentary about one of the most iconic bands of all time, Let It Be's last home video release was on VHS and Laserdisc back in 1981. Though the film was widely circulated through bootleg copies in the 80s and attempts were made to restore it for DVD in 2003, it was later claimed that Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr blocked the re-release due to its unflattering depiction of the band. There is a sliver of hope that Let It Be will soon see the light of day, however, as Peter Jackson is currently prepping a spiritual sequel documentary, The Beatles Get Back, which consists of additional footage filmed for the original doc and is due for release this summer. Jackson has also stated that he plans to release a remastered version of the original Let It Be film, and while there's no guarantee that this will actually happen, it certainly throws a lifeline to fans fed up of watching the film on a hideous VHS rip. Number 4. Chicago Hope. Despite running for 6 seasons and 141 episodes, not to mention winning a slew of Emmys, medical drama series Chicago Hope is still a major pain in the ass to watch if you don't already own the ancient DVD box sets, which, by the way, aren't available in North America. The show, which ran from 1994 to 2000, faces a rather unique issue where music rights are concerned, because though the series didn't actually feature many needle drops of iconic pop songs, some of the doctors in the show did enjoy singing show tunes mid-operation. And because even a playful sing-song requires the original rights holders to be compensated and Broadway songs are infamously expensive to license, it places a massive financial burden on 20th Television ever releasing the series on a new medium. Considering that the show posted just a fraction of the peak ratings of more successful medical dramas like ER and Grey's Anatomy as well, it's perhaps not that surprising that nobody can be bothered to shell out enough dough to bring the series to streaming. Number 3. Looking for Mr Goodbar. Looking for Mr Goodbar is definitely one of the oddest lost movies on this list, given that it's directed by 8-time Oscar nominee Richard Brooks, stars Diane Keaton and Richard Gere, was nominated for 2 Oscars and grossed $22.5 million worldwide. Since its original 1977 release though, the film has only ever been officially released on VHS and Laserdisc, despite considerable demand for DVD and Blu-ray releases in particular. On the surface, there's no clear reason why such an esteemed project wouldn't be readily available, but it's been rumored on forums that the film again has been tangled up in musical clearance issues for the last few decades. Furthermore, it's been speculated that at least one artist on the soundtrack isn't too keen that their music is associated with the film and is therefore refusing to lower their fee, as might incentivize Paramount to actually release the damn thing. Number 2. Dogma. Unquestionably the most surprising release on this list is Kevin Smith's deliriously entertaining 1999 religious satire film Dogma, which despite having been released on both DVD and Blu-ray in 2000 and 2008 respectively, is extremely tricky to track down barely a decade later. Why isn't one of the funniest comedies of the 90s on streaming then, you ask? Well, because as Smith himself explained on Twitter, the film's rights are owned by Bob and Harvey Weinstein, and their deal to distribute the film predates the existence of streaming and has since lapsed, effectively leaving the film in limbo. But even if you assume that you could rely on trusty old physical media to get you by, both the DVD and Blu-ray are now also out of print, and so second-hand copies have a tendency to sell for wildly overinflated prices online. It sure would be nice to see the film get the 4K UHD treatment in time for its 25th anniversary in late 2024 though, especially as it missed out on its recent 20th anniversary. Number 1. Moonlighting. Classic 80s dramedy series Moonlighting starred Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis as a pair of star-crossed private detectives, and was both a ratings and awards hit during its 5-season 66-episode run. The series' enduring charm makes it feel perfect for a streaming release, but bizarrely the show only ever received a modest run of DVD box sets, most of which are now long out of print around the world. Even the few that remain are now prohibitively expensive to all but the most hardcore fans. Once again, it's been theorized that music rights issues are to blame here, though it's certainly not being confirmed in this case. Either way, Moonlighting absolutely deserves to be enjoyed by a whole new generation and savoured in the highest possible quality by its loyal fans. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are there any movies or TV shows I missed off here that you think deserve to be on? And while you're down there, could you please give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't know, I've been Josh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.